Join me to learn how to grow and cook raspberries from scratch. Hi, I'm Melanie from Our House to Homestead. Come along on my family's journey as we convert our house on the outskirts of Auckland, New Zealand into a homestead where we grow, harvest and cook our own food from scratch. Raspberries. I love them. Raspberries are rich in vitamin C and antioxidants which protect our cells from damage. They're also high in tannins and polyphenols, which are great for our gut health. Growing raspberries at home is actually really straightforward and easy. You need a nutrient-dense base to start with. I always use compost and sheep pellets. And then from there, once you've dug that in, you can plant the small plants and you need to offer support and direction. In today's episode, I'll be showing you how to add support and direction. We use a method of attaching the canes that grow each year to a wire frame, and doing that allows you to determine which canes are going to be fruiting and which canes need to be pruned. Something I didn't know about raspberries until recently was that they actually grow underneath runners and they come out the sides. So raspberry plants will spread quite a lot if you don't contain them. That's great if you want heaps of raspberries, but if you are concerned, then it can be helpful to grow them in a container or in a bucket in the ground. Today I'm going to show you how to provide support and direction for your raspberry plants, and then we're going to get into the kitchen and make some delicious fluffy raspberry muffins with a crumble topping. Let's get growing and cooking. The raspberry plant that I started with, I've actually transplanted to plant here, and I've recently planted in here with one other plant. So these are my beautiful raspberry plants. This is the original one and this is the one that I've just planted in recently. As you can see, there are some buds forming over there and then even some leaves forming in this one, and this one's definitely started growing leaves. Both plants are ready for a little support. So I'm literally going to start with some wire about 25 centimeters off the ground, and I'm just going to bring it around the post and then twist it around. Then bringing the wire across, you want to bring it quite taut. Unfortunately, it's going to clear those calendula plants. So you just cut a length off. I'll wind it around the post a couple of times. So looking at my raspberry plant, I'm definitely going to want at least 2 more of those going up, so I'm just going to put those ones in, and then I can start to tie off any of the branches that reach. So this guy can go on, this guy will be able to reach, and if this guy can reach as well. For this plant here, I probably won't worry about tying him off yet, but as soon as some of the branches are close enough, then I can add some stability by tying it off as well. Now I'm ready to use this tie to tie on the branches to the wires. This is just a soft cloth tie. Another good one would be stocking tie. Basically we don't want to harm the branches when we're tying them on, so something really soft, but something that's sturdy enough to hold them in place. Being really careful not to bump my aloe vera over here. So pulling these horizontal is actually a really good idea to promote some growth, especially for plants that are newly established and you're wanting to get bushier and have more fruit. Awesome, so that's the beginning of the raspberries for spring, and we're going to make a recipe inside using some frozen raspberries, but hopefully come summer we'll be making recipes with fresh ones. To make our raspberry muffins, we're going to take all of the dry ingredients and mix it together first. So we're going to need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, half a cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, half a teaspoon teaspoon of baking soda. Careful not to get any lumps in this one. Half a teaspoon of salt. And give your dry ingredients a good mix. In another bowl, we put our wet ingredients, so 2 eggs. I always use free range. I dream of having chickens. That will definitely be a step on the homestead. I'm going to give mine a little whisk now, just to break them up. Sometimes it's quite hard to get the yolks distributed through everything if everything else is in the bowl altogether. We're going to add 1 cup of yogurt to this. Half a cup of vegetable oil. I'm using olive oil. This is quite a light tasting olive oil. Some lemon zest. Lemons and raspberry go so well together. Finally, I'm going to add the cup of raspberries. And stir well to combine. You can see mixing those egg yolks up before mean we don't need to get a whisk in there with raspberries. Using frozen raspberries here is definitely going to help to keep them whole while I stir. If you've got fresh raspberries to use, I suggest that you stir it up before you add the raspberries in. Now we simply fold all of the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients, making sure that we don't overmix. Using an ice cream scoop, or I always use 2 spoons, we're now going to put the mixture into a pre-lined with muffin cases muffin tin. I've got a couple of muffin cases in each one of these. I find it just makes them hold a little bit better. For the topping, just to make it a little bit different, we're going to put a bit of a crumble topping on top. We need 1/3 of a cup of sugar, 1/4 of a cup of flour. Give that a stir to combine. To highlight the lemon flavour that we used in the muffin to make the raspberry flavoured pop, I'm just going to put a little bit of lemon zest in the topping as well. And then we pop in 2 tablespoons of butter. And I've cut these up nice and small so it's easier to rub in. Now you could use 2 knives or a fork or a special pastry tool for rubbing in butter, but I'm just going to use my fingers. The heat from my fingertips allow it to melt slightly. Next we're going to sprinkle that crumble mixture evenly over top of each of the muffins. Pop these in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for about 20 minutes until the muffins are done. Hit subscribe to follow along with all of the developments on our house to homestead. I'll be posting more videos on growing, harvesting and cooking our food. Don't miss out. Details for any products and equipment used are in the description below. See you next week, friends.